So if you guys haven't seen my 21 books that I want to read in 2021 video that I made all the way back in January, I highly recommend you watch that first so that you have a basis of understanding for what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Hello everybody, my name is Danny and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review the list of 21 books that I wanted to read in 2021 and talk about if I actually read them or not. So without any further ado, why don't we just get to that list. The first 6 entries on the list were the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series by Ransom, and I did read all 6 of these. I binged them back in February and March, I believe. There's a video on my channel where I went and reviewed the entire series. It's kind of a mediocre video, but what are you gonna ask for? And they were alright. There was some questionable things about them, but overall I'd say I liked a little bit more than I didn't like about the series. Books 4 and 5 were absolutely my favorite. They far outshined the rest. And I do still own these books technically. I just left them back with my parents because my mother had read the first, I think, 3 books in the series, and she liked them and wanted to finish them at some point, so they're gonna stay with her for a little while. Though honestly, when she gives them back, there's a decent chance that I'm going to unhaul them because I don't think I'm going to be rereading them probably ever, but who knows, maybe I'll get them back and I'll decide I want to keep them in my collection. Numbers 7 through 10 on the list were Aragon and the rest of the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, book 4 of which is Inheritance, and I have read the first 3 books, and I am this far into book 4. It's 36 pages. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna get through this by the end of the year. I'm not giving up on it, but there's a good chance it's not gonna happen, so I'm not counting this one as read. But I did read the first 3, and I liked them. They were pretty good. There's some problematic elements in them, as kind of what am I trying to say? Problematic elements that you see in a lot of high fantasy of this time. So, not excusing it, but it's quite commonplace, so I'm not surprised to have seen that kind of stuff. I'm really hoping that book 4 picks back up, because book 3 was definitely my least favorite, and it was kind of a lull in the series. But whether or not I get to this month, I'm hoping it's better than last book was. The next 4 books were 4 books that I own in Italian, and of those I read a single easy reader book. Look how tiny this is, and I just never picked up the other ones. I do have a second easy reader book, and then a book that was originally in English that was then translated into Italian that I wanted to read, and then a book that's just originally in Italian. Didn't read any of the rest of them, but I read this one, and that's all I can say about that. In 2022, I do want to pick up Italian more. I have made it a goal to spend at least 1 hour a week studying the language, and so here's hoping that I actually get to that. The 15th book on this list was Italian Folktales by Italo Calvino, and I did read this, and I had a really good time doing it. I just really love fairy tales and that kind of thing, and my copy of this book lists where each story originated, so it was really fun to read a story and be able to place where in Italy that story came from. It was just a really cool little added bonus, and yeah, this was just a really fun book, and I definitely see myself returning to it to flip through a couple of stories here and there in the future. Then book 16 was If on a Winter's Night a Traveler by Italo Calvino, and I did not get my hands on a copy, so obviously I did not read it, though I still want to someday soon. The 17th book on my list is The Tower of Nero, which is book 5 of the Trials of Apollo, and of course I read it. Of course I gave it 5 stars because it's Rick Riordan, and it was really good. Trials of Apollo isn't my favorite Rick Riordan series, but it was still really good, and I enjoyed it. And his new book, Daughter of the Deep, just came out, and I really, really, really want to read that so bad because I'm just obsessed with Rick Riordan's books. They're so good. Number 18 was Le Morte d'Arthur by Thomas Mallory, and I did read it and then immediately unhauled it because, oh boy, was it a chunker, and I know I'm never going to reread it again, and I just didn't really see a need to keep it on my shelf. It's just not the kind of thing that I want in my permanent collection. So I'm glad I can say that I read it, but rereading's not going to happen. Number 19 is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Hadden, and I did read this, and I enjoyed it, just not as much as the stage play, but I'm still very glad to have read it and to own it. It's a really cute book, and I recommend it if you're looking for a book with an autistic protagonist. Number 20 was Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and like with a couple of other books on this list, I just didn't get my hands on a copy, and so I didn't read it. Though, in 2022, I kind of want to check out audiobooks a little bit, maybe, even though I know they're not the best format for me. I'm hoping maybe I could fix that, kind of, and the audiobook is on Spotify, so we'll see. Maybe I will give that a try, and let me know if you'd like for me to vlog that, because that's also an idea that I've been floating around in my head, just like vlogging me trying audiobooks for the first time. Not for the first time, but like seriously for the first time. So yeah, if that's the kind of video you're interested in, let me know and I'll see if I can make it work. And last but certainly not least, the 21st book that I wanted to read in 2021 was Planet X by Michael Jan Friedman, and I did read this and it was really good, and it's just kind of a silly fun story, and it made me want to pick up more of these like pulp sci-fi stories from like the 70s and 80s. It's just, I don't know, I feel like I'd really enjoy that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the last book, and I'm glad to end on a high note saying that I read it. So overall, I read 15 of the 21 books that I wanted to read, which comes out to about 72%, and I'm happy with that percentage. Overall, I did enjoy more of the books than I didn't enjoy, which is always pleasant to find out, even though none of them really made it to my like favorites of the year list. But yeah, I'm satisfied with this list and how it ended up turning out. So be sure to tune in the next couple of days to see what I plan on reading in 2022, because I am doing a video every day for a week. And so yeah, that's it for me. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!